I think my partner loves the version of me they invented, not the real me. I don't know if I'm being dramatic or if I'm finally seeing something that's been there all along, but I'm starting to believe my partner doesn't actually love me, just an idea of who they think I am. I'm 28F and my partner is 31M. When we started dating, they showered me with compliments constantly. They called me refreshing and easygoing and so stable. They tell their friends, she never gets upset. She's the calmest person I've ever met. At first it felt flattering, but over time, those words started feeling like a cage. Every time I showed a normal emotion, stress from work, frustration over something that went wrong, a disagreement about plans, it was like they short-circuited. The tone would shift instantly. Their face would fall, the energy would change, and they'd say something like, "This isn't like you," or "You're not usually like this," as if I had broken character in a movie they were directing. The more I noticed it, the more it bothered me. If I had a long day and needed comfort, they'd respond with disappointment instead of support. If I disagreed with them, they'd go quiet and sulk. And if I dared to bring up something that hurt my feelings, they'd say, "You're overthinking again, you're usually so chill." It got to a point where I felt like I had to swallow every negative emotion just to keep the peace. I wasn't allowed to have a bad day, or PMS, or stress, or even an opinion that didn't align with theirs. They didn't want a partner, they wanted a fantasy doll who always smiled, never complained, and existed only to reinforce their world. The twist came a week ago when they asked me to grab a charger from their desk drawer. Sitting on top of the charger was their journal, open to a page filled with my name. I didn't intend to read it, the words were just right there, visible before I closed it, but what I saw stopped me cold. They had written an entire entry describing me like a fictional character. She never gets angry. She's always calm. She never doubts me. She agrees with my decisions. She handles stress gracefully without needing reassurance. She's steady and predictable. She's everything I've always needed, someone with no emotional chaos. I froze because none of that is me. Not a single sentence. I'm not predictable. I'm not calm 24/7. I need reassurance sometimes. I have flaws. I get overwhelmed. They weren't describing a person, they were describing a fantasy woman designed to meet their emotional needs without ever expressing her own. I closed the journal and pretended I hadn't seen it, but the words haunted me. Suddenly every moment where they seemed disappointed in me made sense. They weren't reacting to actual me, they were reacting to me breaking out of the role they'd assigned. Over the weekend, I decided to test something. When they asked how my day was, I told the truth, honestly. Rough. I'm exhausted. My coworkers dumped extra work on me and I'm overwhelmed. Their immediate reaction wasn't concern. It was confusion mixed with irritation, like I had betrayed them somehow. They said, "You're usually so calm about these things. What happened to the version of you who doesn't let stuff get to you?" That word, version, felt like a punch. When I tried to explain that I'm human and sometimes things get to me, they cut me off with, "You're acting different lately." The truth is, I'm not acting different. I'm acting real. And they don't know how to love real. The person they love is the one in their journal, the woman who doesn't stress, doesn't disagree, doesn't feel deeply, doesn't need support, doesn't push back, doesn't exist. I've been slowly molding myself into that version without even realizing it. Smiling when I'm tired. Laughing things off when I'm frustrated. Agreeing to avoid conflict. Shrinking myself to fit a fantasy I never signed up for. Tonight, things escalated. I told them I needed to talk about how they react when I'm upset, and they immediately went defensive. They said, "You're not like this. You're becoming someone else." I answered, "No. I'm becoming myself again." They didn't like that. They said I was being dramatic, emotional, too sensitive, all things they've never called me before because they never allowed me to show the sides of me that prove I'm not some soft-spoken dream girl who lives without complication. I asked them directly if they loved me, or the idea of me. They didn't answer. They just stared at me like they were looking at a stranger. I don't know what to do. I love them, or at least I love the version of them I thought saw me clearly. But now that I've seen that journal, now that I've watched how quickly their affection disappears when I behave like a real human being, I feel like I've been in a relationship with someone who built a character and cast me in the role without asking. I don't want to live my life to someone's fantasy. I don't want to be punished emotionally for being real. I'm scared that if I stay, I'll disappear into the version of me they want instead of the version of me I actually am. So, what do I do? How do you love someone who only loves their own imagination?